Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, Bitcoin is rejected around $9,200 and has fallen to support on the 200 hourly simple moving average. In this video, we're going to be breaking down this rejection, trying to understand why it happened. We're also going to be diving into the concept of gut feeling. As you're about to see, my gut feeling kind of predicted this move about 3 or 4 days ago, and we're also going to be discussing where Bitcoin ought to be heading from here. Guys, this is a pretty major move on Bitcoin. It's far from the end of the Bitcoin rally, but it is definitely important. So if you guys want to be informed on this movement and also be caught up to speed on all the technical analysis surrounding it so that you can be ready for a profitable trade, I encourage you to watch the entirety of this video because there's going to be a lot of value in this one. Before we dive in though, I want to remind you that the January 2020 sale on CT2A has been extended through Monday, Martin Luther King Day. So if you want to start learning technical analysis, I recommend checking us out at the link in the description down below. More on that at the end of the video though. But without much further ado guys, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Guys, we need to address the elephant in the room very, very early on here, and that would be this. I know you haven't hit the like button yet. That's the elephant in the room. Hit the like button. Come on now. Come on now. After you hit it, then we can get... Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, now we can get back to it. Now for the actual elephant in the room. This price target right up here of $9,125. Because I know I'm going to get flack for that in the comment section down below. So let me go ahead and talk about that first and foremost. Guys, there's something you need to understand in technical analysis. You're going to set entry positions. And my entry position, which I did not enter, by the way, and I'm about to explain why, of around $9,125 is a tentative entry position. In many videos, I've talked about where I think the entry position should be around $9,125 to $9,200. And in fact, about 2 videos ago, I'm not going to bother Taylor with going and trying to find me saying it so we can flash back to it, but I did say that if you want to be a little safer, you could put an entry position up here at $9,200, which Bitcoin actually didn't reach and you wouldn't have gotten into. I hope none of you guys got into a trade at 9,125 because I probably should have made a little clear when I was talking about those trades that when you enter a position, you want to make sure not only that you're crossing a price target barrier, but also that you're seeing a lot of volume on the breakout and that you're seeing a lot of exuberance. I saw a lot of people in the Discord server yesterday over in the first cohort talking about entering positions, and I had this to say, which I'll have her flash up on screen right now. VS1 Toronto asked me, on spot prediction, El Capitan, is the bull run here? And I said, we've yet to break with volume. Give it time. You'll know. That was at exactly 9 o'clock last night when Bitcoin was above 91.25 and everybody wanted to jump into the market. But I said, you'll know when it actually does. Have patience. And guys, the most important thing that you need to remember when you're trading is to have patience. Just because a market passed your entry position doesn't necessarily mean that you should go into that position, which is why a lot of you guys ask me, Jeb, do you do automatic trades? Or are you asking in a different sort of way? And I normally say no. And the reason is because an automatic trade doesn't have the mind of a trader to sit there and say, okay, well, Bitcoin did cross our price target entry position, but did Bitcoin cross it with exuberance? Because there's a very big difference in those two things. So moving forward, guys, I will try to make it a lot more obvious that Bitcoin needs to be traded with a lot of delicacy and that you need to be careful about your entry positions and that you want to make sure you're watching them live to see if it's actually good to enter there or not. Because as you can see, sometimes the market's going to get a little bit above your entry position, but it's not actually in breakout. It's at the top of a rally. So guys, be careful with that. Lesson well learned for everybody. I already knew that, but I will make sure to convey that better in the future. Hopefully you guys didn't get burned on that. If you did, like I said, hopefully we've all learned something from it. Anyway, moving forward here, let's do a little bit of technical analysis. But first I want to show you something that I said about 3 days ago in a YouTube video. Go ahead and roll that. And I want to tell you what my gut is telling me, guys. My gut is telling me that Bitcoin's going to have a little bit of a bigger rejection here from 9K before we break it. I've got a weird feeling that we're not just going to break it in the next 48 hours. I've got a weird feeling that we're going to reject maybe down to around $8,500 and then we're going to rally from there. I don't quite feel totally confident that we're just going to have a solid breakout in the next couple of days. It might take a little bit of time. I still think it's going to happen, but I don't know that it's going to happen as quickly as some of us were hoping for. Like I said in that video a few days ago, guys, I had a feeling in my gut. It's called intuition, it's experience, whatever you want to call it. Your intuition will tell you certain things about the market. My intuition was telling me, Jeb, even though all the technicals are looking bullish, I've got a feeling that Bitcoin's not just going to break bullish out here. And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that Bitcoin has been rallying for quite a long time. I mean, we've actually technically been in an uptrend since before Christmas. So Bitcoin needed a little bit more time to cool off. And that isn't really surprising to me, to be quite honest with you. I've been talking about over the last several days about how Bitcoin's been trending to the upside. And yes, it does look like we're going to have a breakout. And yes, I do still think tentatively that that's going to happen. But at the same time, Bitcoin does need to consolidate. It needs to lock in gains, need to give the bears their time. We need to continue sustaining an uptrend. We need to continue sustaining a rally. And the way to do that is by making sure that the bears have their chance as well. So this is actually a healthy move. Let's dive into that. First and foremost, guys, if you go down to the hourly chart and you plot the 200 hourly simple moving average, you'll see that Bitcoin has been above this moving average for quite some time. And just this morning, Bitcoin decided to come down and test it. As you can see, that's pretty much where we're testing, but that's not the only place, because another place that we're actually testing is right here at this bottom wick. If we bring out our cross, we're going to go ahead and see that that bottom of around $8,466 is the exact same bottom that we had over here on the 14th of January, meaning that Bitcoin has actually yet to set a lower low on Wix. And if we look at the candle bodies themselves, Bitcoin is still yet to set a lower low because the low on the candle bodies at the time of recording this is around $8,600. It's very possible that we still do that, though. I want to make that clear. And guys, like I said, I want to make it very obvious to you that this pullback that we've seen, this is not a bad thing. This is not the end of the uptrend. This is not the end of the rally. This does not mean that the bull market can't restart. This, in my opinion, is still healthy consolidation, at least for now. The reason I say that shows up on the daily chart. If we go out to the daily chart, you're going to find that the daily chart RSI was getting pretty overextended. We were sitting up at 70. It is hard to have a breakout when you're that high on the RSI. So now that we've rejected and we pulled back a little bit, then the RSI is sitting down around 60, which means that we have more room to rally in the future if we decide to do that. As you can see, the two lines here, the MACD and the signal line, are converging bearish on themselves, which is technically a bad thing, but at the same time, it's allowing for the MACD to cool off a little bit, and that in general can be viewed as a good thing. Furthermore, guys, Bitcoin is still above the 20 exponential moving average on the daily and the weekly chart. If we look here, Bitcoin is above our 20 daily EMA, which is a very important moving average, but even more importantly is the 20 weekly exponential moving average. Bitcoin is technically still above it. As you can see, its bottom is down here around $8,200. Bitcoin staying above both of those moving averages is critical to the sustainment and the continuation of the rally that we're in for it to turn into a new bull market. If it's going to happen, we're going to need to stay above those two moving averages. There is a possibility that Bitcoin falls back below them. As you can see over here, Bitcoin sometimes trades sideways after a rally and falls through them. We want to make sure that that doesn't happen. And with this 20 weekly exponential moving average in mind, I actually want to update the short position that I was telling you guys about. I had my short entry around $8,400. I want to drop it down to $8,100. The reason for that would be that if Bitcoin falls down to $8,100, then we've broken both of the 20 exponential moving averages around the daily chart and the weekly chart. If we break both of those, we're probably entering a new downtrend. So around $8,000 to $8,100 is where I would put a short position entry now rather than $8,400. I want to go ahead and update that since I think the short and long positions that I was showing you guys in yesterday's video were maybe a little bit too tight. One thing I also want to mention, guys, is that out on the weekly chart, you know how much I've been talking about the weekly chart MACD having a bullish cross. This is a big deal. Guys, tonight the weekly candlestick is going to finally close. Around 8 o'clock tonight, my time, Eastern Standard Time, midnight UTC, the new candlestick is going to come out, and the MACD chart is maybe going to have a bullish cross. It's hard to tell, but there's a decent chance that they cross. I have a feeling the MACD and the signal line are going to be sitting right on top of each other, which is definitely going to be a bullish sign. And guys, remember, short-term technical analysis does not override longer-term technical analysis. Normally, longer-term analysis overrides shorter-term technical analysis. We have videos on that in the course. The weekly chart is looking fantastic. The weekly chart is converging bullish on the MACD. The RSI is rallying. We have a lot of room to go. So even though the daily chart is looking a little bit more bearish, and we have a bearish cross on the MACD on the daily chart perhaps coming, the RSI is cooling off a little bit, still overextended. Even though those things are true, Bitcoin still has room to fall and get caught on support above 8K, and we have the weekly chart coming in to save the day. So, guys, I'm still feeling pretty bullish on Bitcoin, but like I said in the last video, which I showed you a second ago, I was feeling kind of like Bitcoin was going to reject here. Just things seem to be going too good. And like I said, guys, your gut feeling, your intonation, your experience, your wisdom, whatever you want to call it, is very, very important in technical analysis. Your instinct, it's very important. And I had an instinct, a feeling, a gut, an intuition, whatever you want to call it, that Bitcoin was a little overextended. Bitcoin was rallying a little too fast. Considering we've been in a downtrend for 7 or 8 months, things just seem to be going a little too good, and it kind of set off something in my brain, and you need to listen to that if you're an experienced trader. Because, guys, one of the biggest things I struggle with in technical analysis is actually following my intuition, because I've been working in the markets every single day for 2.5 years, so my intuition is very well trained, and when I listen to it, it's normally right. But because I'm still getting to that level of being an expert analyst, I still don't consider myself an expert. One of my biggest problems is actually listening to my own intuition, because I still think it's wrong from when I was newer to technical analysis. Make no mistake, if you're newer to analysis, your intuition is probably going to be wrong because it's not well trained. But when it's well trained like mine is, and like a lot of yours are, it is a valuable resource, and you do need to listen to it. So, guys, what's the trade here? The short position, I'm sitting at around 80.50, between $8,000 and $8,100, wherever you want to enter down there. And our new long position, I would say around $9,250. I want to move that a little bit away from where we rallied to before. As you guys can see here, we had our entry position about $50 above the 200 daily simple moving average, which was the price to beat. But Bitcoin got up above it, and we just weren't able to sustain the rally from there. So that's okay. Just guys, I want to make one thing very, very clear here. Whenever you are entering a position, you should have an entry position defined and say, hey, I'm going to enter right here. But when you cross that entry position, there's something very important to do that I haven't given enough time here on the channel, and that is that when the market crosses your entry level, whatever that is, say you're going to $9,000 and after it crosses that, you're going to go long. Don't enter the position until you're absolutely sure of the rally. Guys, Bitcoin had been rallying here for about 2 weeks or so, and like I said in the video earlier, I was getting a little bit cautious. That's why I said in the Discord server earlier, have patience, guys. You'll know when the breakout is coming. When the breakout does actually come, then go ahead, jump in. But Bitcoin very clearly, if we look at the minute chart down here, did not actually have a breakout. A lot of people last night were trying to jump in with price levels looking like this, and I was like, guys, just wait a minute, have patience. I'm not going in right now. Even though it's crossed our entry position, you want to be careful. Just because it's gotten above a certain price level does not by any stretch of the imagination guarantee that that rally is going to happen. So guys, just remember that for your trading is very important. It's one of the easiest ways to cut out bad trades is to not enter the trade at all if you're not as certain of it as you can be. And a lot of that's going to come down to your risk management, but now we're getting off into the weeds. I think you got the point. Guys, I want to hear your take on all this in the comment section down below. One thing I also want to mention is that what we're forming right here on Bitcoin, we are testing support, but it also does kind of look like a bear flag to me. So maybe look out for a trade on that. Be careful because we might double bottom down here on that low at $8,450 though. But guys, before we wrap the video out, I do just want to ask you, if you did enjoy the video, please hit that like button and also smash the subscribe button. We post daily cryptocurrency technical analysis and I wouldn't want you to miss any of it. And if you guys aren't already familiar with the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, it is our course that has over 1,100 members in it. At the time of recording this, there are 1,113 people in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, and they are all loving it, guys. There's a 14-day money-back refund guarantee. You're going to get access to 34 videos and over 10 hours of high-quality content. And if you join now, you're going to be getting access to all of the new content that's coming out over the next 3 months for free without having to pay anything extra. But if you wait until after all of those videos are already out, you're going to have to pay the increased price for the course because the price of the course is going to be increasing. Guys, everything we just talked about in this video is in this academy. We have math psychology, risk and reward, a game of statistics and probabilities, how to plan and execute profitable trades, gut feeling, market structure, the convergence of short and long-term trends. We talked about that one. The 20 exponential moving average has its own dedicated video down here. Every single indicator we talked about in this video is here in the technical indicators section. Support and resistance, depth charts, and stop limits. Guys, there is a lot of content here, and you're going to get access to all of it if you use the January 2020 code linked in the description down below. If you want, then you can join our free Discord server down below and see what all of our students have to say about the academy before you jump on in. Go get some private testimony. But guys, like I said, that sale will be wrapping up at midnight tomorrow. I did extend it because I think about 6 of you guys asked me to, so hopefully you guys who asked me to are taking advantage of that. I think you are, because a lot of you guys are joining lately. But anyway, guys, that is going to have to wrap it up for today's video. But before we do, I do want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.